So great day, class. Yan. Magandang araw po. So alam ko nung mga nakarang araw, nagdaan tayo sa mga challenges, sa bagyo. At patuloy po tayong lumalaban sa mga iba pa pong mga kalagayan ng bansa natin, pandemic. Pero patuloy tayong matututo at mag-aaral. Okay? So today, we will discuss taxation on corporations. So, in our previous lessons, we have discussed general principles ng income taxation, di ba? Mga terms, and also we also discuss about individual taxpayers and ano yung mga tax na nag-a-apply sa kanila. Meron tayong mga resident citizen, non-resident alien, and resident alien, and non-resident citizen as well. At ano-ano yung mga taxes, di ba, na applicable sa kanila. May naaral natin yung mga taxes within and without. Okay? Mga sources of income na taxable. Depende kung anong klaseng individual taxpayers ka. Ngayon, pag-aaralan naman natin ang income taxation on corporations. So, allow me to share my screen to you. So, can you now see my screen? Okay. So, we're now on the chapter 5 of our subject, income taxation. And we're about to discuss about income tax on corporations. So, at the end of this lesson, the students must be able to define and classify corporate taxpayers, should be able to identify the classification and taxability of income of a corporation. We should be able to discuss the concept of normal corporate income tax, or the NCIT, the minimum corporate income tax, or the MCIT, and the improperly accumulated earnings tax, or the IAET. We should be able to compute income taxes using the normal corporate income tax, and compute income taxes using the minimum corporate income tax. And finally, should be able to discuss the treatment of special corporations. So let's begin. So let's begin with the definition of corporation. Ano ba yung corporation? Under Section 2 of the revised Republic Act number 11232, or the Revised Corporation Code, it says that a corporation is an artificial being created by operation of law, having the right of succession and the powers, attributes, and properties expressly authorized by law or incident to its existence. So, kapag sinabing artificial being, meaning it has a personality on its own. Ba? It has a personality distinct and separate from that of the shareholders of the corporation. Meaning, isa siyang person, although wala siyang physical existence. Diba? Tulad natin. So the corporation and the shareholders, yung mga may hawak ng kanilang stocks or shares sa isang corporation, they are being taxed in their separate capacities. Thus, the prohibition on double taxation will not apply. Naalala niyo yung topic natin about double taxation. So, taxing the same subject twice, diba? Within the same taxable year, within the same territory or jurisdiction. Okay? So, in that case, since in this case, magkaiba yung itinatax, one is the shareholders and the other is the corporation, then there is no double taxation. So, pag sinabi naman pong a corporation is created by operation of law, it means that it is not really the law that creates the corporation. It is the law, or the law is the only authority that allows a corporation to be created. So it is the process of putting into course of action in accordance or in substantial compliance of the law that makes the operation or simply the creation of the corporation. It's from the registration requirements, kasi ang corporation, nire-register yan muna. Yung general corporation under the corporation code. Tapos, nare-register yan sa SEC, tapos sa BIR, sa local government units. Diba? So, ganun po ang ibig sabihin ng it is created by operation of law. Ano naman yung having the right of succession? Having the right of succession, yung right of succession, it's a process po wherein, diba, kapag ang isang tao namatay, usually yung mga properties niyan maililipat. So, sa mga heirs, sa mga anak, sa mga beneficiaries, mga legal heirs, asawa, kung sino man yung available na nearest na relative. Ganun din po sa corporation. So kapag ang isang stockholder, shareholders namatay, hindi po agad-agad namamatay yung corporation. Unless otherwise po yung corporation, yung term ng corporation is nag-end. Ang kanyang yung term or by authority of the law, pinastop ba yung isang corporation. And the last one, it has the powers and attributes and properties expressly authorized by law or incident to its existence. So ibig sabihin lang po niyan ay ang corporation daw po ay may kapangyarihan, diba, na magsampa under its own name. Pwede rin ito mag-collect ng mga properties if it allowed, diba? Under its own name, ipapangalan niya yung mga properties niya under its own name. So para talaga siyang isang tao, it's just that it's a juridical entity, 'di ba? It's just artificial na hindi mo makikita, mahawakan. It cannot even be jailed, 'di ba? Hindi mo pwedeng kulong yung isang corporation. You may fine him but it cannot be jailed because it has no physical existence. Okay? So ito po yung mga classes of corporation under the revised corporation code. We have the stock and non-stock corporation. Pag sinabi mong stock, yung isang corporation, kumikita po yan. Okay? So, bibigay yan ng mga dividends, di ba? And ibinibigay niya yun sa mga shareholders. Whereas yung non-stock corporation, ito naman yung mga corporation na hindi nag-generate ng profit or nag-i-issue ng mga shares of stock sa mga membro niya. Usually, ang purpose niyan, mga charitable, religious, educational, cultural, or civic service. So, yan po yung pinagkaiba niya. Pero pagdating po natin sa taxation, hindi po siya categorically na dinefine sa National Internal Revenue Code or NIRC or the tax code. Bagkos, in-enumerate, sinama niya yung mga following, like yung partnerships, no matter how created or organized, joint stock companies, joint accounts, association, and insurance companies. So although itong mga to may have some difference with the corporation as defined by the corporation code, under the tax code, itong mga to ay kasama. Treated sila as isang corporation, as a corporation for tax purposes. Like yung partnership, diba? No matter how created or organized. Kasi may mga partnership na kahit hindi mo siya na-registered, pwede mo siyang isubject sa tax. Okay? However, it excludes the following, meaning hindi kasama sa term na corporation yung general professional partnerships and joint ventures or consortium for construction projects or some energy operations pursuant to an operating or consortium agreement under a service of contract with the government. Ay yung mga general professional partnership po, ito po yung mga kapag nagsama-sama kayo, mga professionals, a group of CPAs or lawyers or doctors, nagtayo kayo ng isang firm merely for the practice of your profession. Yan po ay tawag ay general professional partnership. Okay? So hindi po yun sakop nitong corporation under the NIRC. Also, yung joint version of consortium, may mga agreement, diba, for construction projects and energy operations like yung petroleum coal, geothermal. Hindi excluded po siya sa definition ng NIRC. Okay? So, ano-ano naman po yung mga major classifications ng corporations na subject sa income tax. Ito po yung mahalaga. Tulad po sa individuals, meron po tayong mga resident citizen, non-resident citizen, resident alien, non-resident alien. Parang ganun din po yung concept dito sa corporations. We have domestic corporation and foreign corporation. For foreign corporation, subdivided na po yan sa dalawa. We have resident foreign corporation and non-resident foreign corporation. Pag sinabi mo naman pong domestic corporation, ito yung mga corporation organized under the Philippine laws. Andito sila sa Pilipinas, natayo, na-create dito sa Pilipinas at nag-operate dito sa Pilipinas. Pwede itong 100% Filipino-owned or 60% Filipino-owned and 40% foreign-owned. Okay? And ang mga tax nito usually within and without on its worldwide sources. Unlike foreign corporation, familiar naman kayo sa, di ba, sa like resident alien. Parang ganun din yung concept niya. It's just that ito yung mga corporation na nabuo or organized sa ibang bansa other than the Philippines. However, there are foreign corporations na nag-exist or nag-engage ng business dito sa Pilipinas. Ang tawag sa kanila ay Resident Foreign Corporation or the RFC. Whereas ito namang mga corporations na hindi nag-engage ng business, ng trader business continually sa Pilipinas may be tagged as non-resident foreign corporation. Ito namang mga foreign corporation, resident foreign and non-resident foreign corporations, itatax mo lang sila from their sources from within the Philippines. So parang kagaya yung concept ng individual taxpayers. Okay? So, ayan. So, ito po yung summary niya. Sa domestic corporation, ang source niya ng income is from within and without. Ang tax base niya is generally taxable income. And ang rate is 30% general rule except sa mga following special domestic corporation. Ito yung mga special corporations under domestic corporation. We have private educational institution, yung mga educational institutions, mga schools, private na subject sa rate na 10 or 35% depending sa gross income, depending if yung gross income nila has unrelated business or trade or activity that exceeds 50% of their total gross income. So if whichever is higher, diba, kunwari, pag ang isang private educational institution ay has unrelated trade, business or activity that does not exceed 50%, then ang kanilang applicable rate is 10%. However, on the other hand, kapag nag-exceed yung unrelated trade nila or business or activities or sa 50% ng total gross income nila, diba, parang nagiging yun yung major nila, ang magiging subject sila sa 35% taxable rate. So, ganun din po sa mga non-profit hospitals. Now, for foreign corporation, we have resident foreign corporation first. Ang taxable source nila is yung mga within the Philippines. Tax base is also taxable income. And same as with domestic corporation, 30% din po yung kanilang rate. Except sa mga sumusunod na special resident foreign corporation. Ito yung mga special corporations under a resident foreign corporation. So we have international carriers. So pwede po dyan yung mga air carriers, di ba, na may mga flight sa Pilipinas at ibang bansa, yung mga vessels. So ang kanila pong tax or rate or taxable income or 2.2 is 2.5% ng gross Philippine billings po nila. We also have offshore banking units na ang kanilang rate ay 10% ng gross onshore income. Ito yung mga banking units na may authority from the Bangko Sentral of the Philippines. We also have foreign currency deposit units, same as with offshore banking unit, 10% din po on their gross onshore income. How about yung non-resident foreign corporation? Ang kanilang pong tax source ay within lang. So hindi mo pwede silang i-tax from their sources without the Philippines. At ang tax base nila, ito yung kinaibahan nila sa domestic corporation tsaka resident foreign corporation. Ang tax base po nila ay gross income. Okay? Now, tax rate is also 30% except sa mga sumusunod na special non-resident foreign corporation. We have non-resident foreign corporations, non-resident lessors na mga cinematographic film, which is yung mga 25% po nun yung final tax on their gross income. And we also have non-resident owner lessor ng mga vessels chartered by Philippine nationals, 4.5% po on their final tax of their gross rental. And we have non-resident owner lessor of aircraft, machinery, and equipment. Ang applicable tax rate po sa kanila is 7.5% final tax on their gross rentals. Okay? So, ito, meron po tayong activity. Tingnan po natin kung masasagot po ninyo. So which one describes a resident foreign corporation? So based dun sa pinag-usapan natin, is it A corporation that is organized under the laws of the Philippines that does business in another country? So tingnan po natin, organized under the laws of the Philippines. Pag sinabing organized under the law of the Philippines, domestic po yun. Okay? So whether it does business in another country, domestic corporation po tayo. Wala po tayong tinatawag na non-resident domestic corporation or non-resident domestic corporation. B, is it B? Organized under the laws of a foreign country. So that's an indication already na isa siyang foreign corporation. Diba? Because it's organized under a foreign country. Ang karugtong niyan, that sets up a regional headquarter in the Philippines doing product promotion and information dissemination. So ito po ay hindi isang resident foreign corporation. Okay? Because it is it sets up a regional headquarter in the Philippines. It merely sets up. So probably isa po siyang non-resident foreign corporation. How about yung C? Bakit siya non-resident? Because yan, so probably hindi po ano. Okay, so letter C, organized under the laws of the Philippines that engages business in special economic zone. So may rule po tayo na ito, organized under the laws of the Philippines, domestic po na po agad to. Okay, although performing outside. And how about D? Organized under the laws of a foreign country that engages in business in Makati City. So D is the correct answer. It best describes what is a resident or what a resident foreign corporation is. Diba? It is organized under the laws of a foreign country and it engaged business in the Philippines, specifically in Makati City. Okay? So, case problem po agad tayo. So, we have Angkor Banking Corporation or ABC, which was organized in 2000 and existing under the laws of the Philippines and owned by the Xi family of Makati City. It set up in 2010, a branch office in Shanghai City, China, to take advantage of the presence of many Filipino workers in that area and its booming economy. So ito po si ABC, organized po siya sa taong 2000 and na-create, di ba? Under the law of the Philippines. So meaning domestic po ito. Ang nagmamay-ari po sa kanya ay ang Xi family sa Makati. Diba? Sa Makati City po ito na establish. And in year 2010, so 10 years after po siya ma-create, nag-set up po ito ng branch office sa Shanghai, China. Shanghai City, China. Pero sabi dito, to take advantage, diba, ng mga presence ng mga Filipino workers po doon po sa China. Ngayon, nung taong 2010, the bank management decided not to include the 20 million net income of the Shanghai branch in the annual Philippine income tax return file with the BIR, which showed a net taxable income of 30 million because the Shanghai branch is treated as foreign corporation and is taxed only on income from sources within the Philippines. And since the loan and other business transactions were done in Shanghai, these income are not taxable in the Philippines. So ang allegation nito ni ABC, ni Anchor Banking Corporations, hindi niya na dineclare yung profit nila, yung 20 million net income nila dun sa Shanghai branch nila sa China, because ang allegation nila, we are foreign corporation. Diba? And since we are a foreign corporation, taxable lang kami from our income within the Philippines. Okay? And besides itong mga loan and other business transactions namin, nangyari siya sa Shanghai, China. Thus, hindi ito taxable sa Pilipinas. Ang question po dito, is the bank correct in excluding the net income of its Shanghai branch in the computation of its annual income tax for 2010? What is your answer? Tama po ba ang allegation ni ABC or hindi? So, titingnan po natin. The answer is no. A domestic corporation is taxable on all income derived from sources within and without the Philippines. So ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina. Since si ABC is na-establish po siya under the law of the Philippines, isa po siyang domestic corporation. So whether it is operating outside the Philippines, it's still considered a domestic corporation. And a domestic corporation po is taxable on all their income derived from sources within and without the Philippines. So the income of the foreign branch and that of the home office will be summed up for income tax purposes following the single entity concept and will be included in the gross income of the domestic corporation in the annual Philippine income tax return. So ganun po yun. Okay, so subject mali po si ABC. No, another problem po. Multiple choice lang naman. So Applets Corporation is registered under the law of the Virgin Islands. So from that point, malalaman nyo na hindi siya isang domestic corporation. So it has an extensive operations in Southeast Asia. So in the Philippines, its products are imported and sold at a markup by its exclusive distributor, Kim Tradings, Inc. So the BIR compiled a record of all the imports of Kim Trading Inc. from Applets Corporation and imposed a tax on Applets net income derived from its export to Kim. Ngayon, tama ba si BIR? So here, si Applet, isang foreign corporation, meron daw po siyang distributor dito sa Pilipinas. Si Kim Trading. Ngayon, si BIR, ang ginawa niya, tinax niya si Applet na because tinax niya si Applet ng kanyang net income derived sa mga export na kay Kim. Tama po ba si BIR? Is it A? Tama daw si BIR. Because Applet is a non-resident foreign corporation engaged in trade or business in the Philippines. Is it B? No, BIR is not correct because the tax should have been computed on the basis of the gross revenues and not net income. Or is it C? No, the BIR is not correct because Applet is a non-resident foreign corporation not engaged in trade or business in the Philippines. Or letter D, yes, the BIR is correct. Applets is doing business in the Philippines through exclusive distributor, Kim's Trading Incorporated. So which one is the correct answer? What do you think? So this question may be tricky, diba? But the correct answer here is letter C. The BIR is not correct. So ano ba si Applet? Sabi ko kanina, isa siyang foreign corporation. So titignan nyo, ano bang klaseng foreign corporation? Ito ba ay engaged in trade or business sa Pilipinas or not? engage in business. So kapag engage in business siya, may mga transactions sa Pilipinas, then it is a resident foreign corporation. Pero kapag hindi naman, isa siyang non-resident foreign corporation. So the correct answer here is the BIR is not correct because Applet is a non-resident foreign corporation not engaged in trader business. So hindi mo siya pwedeng i-tax sa kanyang pag-export sa Kim's Trading. Yun yung yung transaction, yung export, yung tax ng BIR. Hindi mo pwede dahil ayun ay from sources without. Okay? At saka hindi po siya directly na nagta-transact or nag-engage ng business sa Pilipinas. It is true, mayroon po siyang exclusive distributor na may sariling personality, si Kim's Trading, dito sa Pilipinas. But it does not mean na iisa po si Applet at si Kim Trading Incorporated. Okay po. So naiintindihan po yun. Now, another problem. So ang dami po nating problem, no? So doon pa lang po sa topic na yun. So si Bates Advertising Company is a non-resident corporation duly organized and existing under the laws of Singapore. So it is not doing business and has no office in the Philippines. So makikita mo dyan, so non-resident foreign corporation po siya. Tama? Kasi hindi siya na-establish under the Philippine law and non-resident, sabi po dyan. So it is not doing business and has no office in the Philippines. Now, we have Pilipinas Garment Incorporated. Isa puro domestic corporation, si Pilipinas Garment. It retained the services of Bates Advertising Company to do all the advertising of its products abroad. So itong si domestic corporation, si Pilipinas Garment, hinire niya o niretain niya yung services ni Bates na non-resident foreign corporation para mag-advertise abroad mga product. So for that services, si Bates may mga fees na binayaran through outward remittances. Ngayon, ang tanong dyan is, are the fees received by Bates subject to any withholding tax? So, tamang sagot po ay, the fees paid to Bates Advertising Company, a non-resident foreign corporation, are not subject to withholding tax since they are not subject to Philippine tax. They are exempt because they do not constitute an income from Philippine sources performed outside the Philippines. So ito raw pong mga outward remittances na ibinayad para kay Bates ay hindi po ito nag-constitute as an income performed within from Philippines, but it is performed outside the Philippines. And a non-resident foreign corporation cannot be taxed from income sources from sources without the Philippines. Okay, so yun po yung rule natin. And I think this is the last case problem. So si Triple Star, it's a domestic corporation. Ma-establish dito sa Pilipinas. And it entered into a management service contract with Single Star. So si Triple Star at si Single Star. Si Triple Star isa po siyang domestic corporation. While si Single Star, it is a non-resident foreign corporation with no property in the Philippines. So under the contract, si Single Star will provide managerial services for Triple Star's Hong Kong branch. So si domestic corporation Triple Star, meron po siyang Hong Kong branch. So si Single Star, lahat ng yon ay ipe-perform sa Hong Kong ni Single Star. Provide siya ng mga managerial services kay Triple Star's Hong Kong branch. So ang question po dito is the compensation for the services of Single Star taxable as an income from sources within the Philippines? What do you think po? So the answer is no. So makikita nyo naman po sa problem kanina, so given problem. So since all the services required to be performed by Single Star, a non-resident foreign corporation, is to be performed in Hong Kong the entire income is from sources without the Philippines. So if we're performing services without or outside the Philippines, so it is an income from without. So the compensation for services rendered by single star is an income derived from sources without the Philippines. So to be considered as an income from within, the labor or services must be performed within the Philippines. Okay po. So I hope you're learning, guys. Marami tayong mga pwedeng i-examples, but I hope those examples are enough. So before po tayo tumungo dito sa second topic, magkakaroon lang po tayo ng break, no? Sige po.